All right. So today's conversation is going to be around the 2024 year and manifesting in that year so that you can really operate correctly, but also manifest your best year. So let's just start this. Gitas, is there anything that you want to bring up to begin with? So the Bodygraph chart team is the sponsor today for this webinar. And I love their platform to have on my system, on my web page for collecting people's data because I provide a chart. So embedding the chart onto my web page, people can grab a business chart right there, and also they can grab a report. And I think that Gitas and his team has outdone themselves in this manner, allowing us as human design professionals to have that access to those charts and those reports for ourselves. So is there anything that you want to bring up?
No, I just want to say thank you to you, Leann, that you're hosting this webinar. I'm just very excited to hear. And thank you so much who was joined this webinar as well.
Yes, yes, should be fun. And there is a Q&A spot, so we can pop in and do some Q&As. I do have this set up for 2 hours. We'll see how long it goes. If it's an hour, great. If it's a couple hours, we'll just keep trucking. I just like to share and teach and help others. So awesome. Okay. So I'm going to show you the New Year chart. The New Year starts on January 22nd, 2024. So I'm just going to share my screen so that you guys can check it out. I did make Algus also a panelist as well. Gitas, if there's anything that
Thank you so much, Leann.
you bet. Okay. So for the 2024 year, anytime the new year starts, we always start on January 22nd. I shouldn't say always. Sometimes it's the 21st of January as well. And the energy here always is because the sun goes into the 41st gate. The 41st gate down here is always this contraction and our beginning spot every time. This is the start codon. This begins absolutely everything. So anytime you see the 41st gate, the sun entering into the 41st gate, that's when you know we have a new year. When you see any of the planets or any of the nodes moving back into that 41st gate, know that there's always going to be a starting point. Something new is happening there, okay? So every single year, you're going to see the 41st, 41.1, and the 31.1 always in the sun-earth aspects. This starts us off every year. So with the 41st gate, what it is teaching us is it teaches us how to contract down. What do I mean by that? So anytime we want to manifest, because this is part of this teaching today, anytime we want to manifest from a contracted one feeling, a very selected feeling that we want to contract down into so that we can have the next new experience in our life. Okay. So the 41st gate is called contraction. And when it's in the first gate, it's always about being reasonable. Okay. Being reasonable about that selected feeling that you're going to use to go forward in your year. Okay. So in human design terminology, we know that there's some base frequencies for all of us. Those base frequencies are satisfaction, that is success, we have peace, and we have awe and surprise. And when our frequencies can actually lean into that, when they can come back to that space and contract down and feel that in our cellular structure, now we are manifesting our life in a different way. Now, why do I use the word manifestation? So if you look at the 31.1 is manifestation. So every single year on the 21st, 22nd, this year it's the 22nd, you have the opportunity to manifest what it is that you would like to see in your life. Now, some people in the human design community are going to say, but we're not supposed to operate from the mind. No, we are not. But when we know, based off of our life experiences, what really feels satisfying, what really brings us success, and of course, that success comes from being noticed and being recognized. When we really understand that feeling in our cellular structure, when we really understand peace, when we really understand that surprise and that awe, what we are doing is we are always manifesting from those emotional states. Now, you can also manifest through frustration, through anger, through bitterness, and through disappointment. So, depending on what you're feeling, that's what the 41st gate is telling you. Depending on what you're feeling is actually what you're going to manifest. It's always saying that. The 41 and the 31 are programming partners in the mandala. It's always indicating that to us. And because we're always looking at the first line, we know what the first line is. The first line is our solid foundation. And using the foundation, contracting down to that feeling, and then manifesting from there, that's your opportunity to start a new experience for the year. Now, what you may notice is that this 31st gate is actually in detriment. So during these 6 days, when we are beginning a new energy field each year, the first 6 days is offering you the space for you to really go deep into the darknesses, into anything that is held in the subconscious mind, so that you can pull that out so that it's no longer holding you back from the experience of your manifested year. Okay. And if there is questions, you guys throw them in the Q&A and we'll get to them towards the end. So now if we look at the moon, of course, what do we know about the moon? The moon moves very quickly. In 29.5 days, it has gone through all 64 gates. So to begin the year, we're in 12.4. What I love about the 12th gate, okay, what I appreciate the most about the 12th gate is that it has this energy of caution, but it also has the energy of abandon, okay? And this year, we're having this in 12.4, this prophet. So it's about ending the standstill, ending all of this stuff where we were stood still from connecting socially. So anybody here operating a business, if you guys want to like set up a year where you're doing retreats, where you're doing in-person workshops, this is really going to be a space for you to be able to do that, because this 12th gate is indicating to us we need to stop this social restriction and step back into really getting social. Okay, this is the voice of authority as well, or sorry, 31 is the voice of authority. The 12 is the voice of the caution and the abandon. And what it is saying, we are going to abandon all of this social construct of staying away from each other and really lean into getting together. Now, the nodal configuration here, we know that the nodes actually just changed. They just changed on the 9th. And we moved from this place of, it was the 42-32, to now we are leaning into the 51 and the 57. What is that all about? Well, we're starting off the year with a lot of shock. Things are going to get really shocking in the world. while this 51 is available in the nodal configuration. But what shock always is telling us is that we have an opportunity to lean deeper into our intuition. Okay? We have an opportunity to lean deeper into our intuition. And this is fifth line. Fifth line, when it begins the year on the 22nd, the fifth line is always the messenger. It's always practical solutions. Okay? So what do we know? We know that this shock is going to bring us to some practical solutions this year. And that practical solution of the intuition is all about reevaluating. Okay? We're going to be reevaluating all these things that we need to adapt to in our world. Okay? So now we have the Mercury, the 38th gate. So the 38 is all about the fighter. And what do we know? Again, first line, we know that anytime we see a first line, it is the foundation. Well, now this is about qualification. What are you actually fighting for in your business, in your life, in your relationships, in your growth, in your movement forward? What are you actually fighting for? You want to get down to what are you qualifying as a fight for yourself and what are you not qualifying as a fight for yourself? Okay. What we're going to notice here, and we are noticing it right now because this energy frequency always is a few weeks before and a few weeks after it starts. We are seeing how humanity is kind of standing up and saying, oh yeah, the cross of planning, we gave you all of our authority. Now we're taking it back. Now we're taking it back. So you're going to notice how humanity is starting to stand up to the people in the world that feel like they had all of the power, all the elites, all these things, all the people that were making decisions for us while we were, working and surviving. Now we're becoming awake and going, hold on a minute. We're going to oppose these forces and we're going to qualify what we actually need as a human race. Okay, so you're going to notice 2024 might get a little chaotic, might get just a little bit chaotic. There's going to be 64 elections throughout the earth plane. So it's going to feel chaotic for many people because there's a lot of moving parts. That is a lot of elections happening, and 40 of those are in countries. So the 31, that's what it's all about. The 31 is really leaning into that democratic aspect. Even though it starts every year like this year's going to be a new one. Because now people are standing up and saying, no, we're fighting for a different electoral aspect happening on our planet. New leaders need to step in. No more can it be bureaucracies and profit. This is really, truly about a different way that the world needs to be ran. And 2024 is going to feel chaotic as we move through all of those elections. The 10, which is here creating this perfected form, which we're going to get at too, is the 10 is all about behavior, but this is about modest behavior. So as you guys are marketing in your businesses, okay, what you're going to notice is that modesty and humble millionaires are going to be more so attractive this year than ever before, because the flashy marketing schemes, all of that stuff, it's going to fall to the wayside. You're going to see very modest, humble marketing aspects in the world. And why do I go to marketing? Because marketing is a part of the systems that we're going to have in our businesses, which we're going to talk about. But think about this, modesty and humble. That's where we want to lean into. Okay. So you want to accept your place However, you also want to have a sense of value in yourself moving forward, because this is what the background frequency is indicating to us. Now we have the 35 or the 38 again. This is our Mars. This is the fighter. This is alienation. Okay. This is going to be very interesting. Okay. Because you're going to be fighting for things. You're going to be, getting to that solid foundation. You're going to qualify what it is that you want to fight for. And sometimes you're going to feel alienated outside of the tribe, because you're learning to fight for what is qualified in your life. So we may see some things where people are feeling like they're being alienated out of the tribe and out of the collective, because they're fighting for what they believe and what they really know inside of them. But I would encourage you to continue to lean into that, because the energy frequency is there empowering you to do that. It is empowering you to step into your own fight. Okay. Now we're going to look at the 27. The 27 is all about nourishment. This is Jupiter. This is laws. This is really interesting because it is called the executor. And this executor, this is about caring for other people's resources. So what you're going to notice this year is there's going to be a lot of corruption that is going to still be brought up around governments, that because they were the ones that were supposed to be taking care of humanity's money. And what you're going to notice is that people are tired of them not spending the money properly, patting their own pockets, doing all of that kind of stuff. So you're going to see this chaos. Like most of us here, a lot of us here are entrepreneurs. We're in the business world. And you're going to start to notice how the corrupt aspects of businesses are going to be, there's going to be a light shined on them. Okay. 55. I love this gate because this is a part of the 2027 shift as well. The 55 is all about spirit. It's all about abundance. And what I appreciate the most about human design is that human design allows us to really reconnect with our own spirits when we make decisions correctly for ourselves. Then we repair, we reconnect with the spirit that is inside of us. And that spirit tells us that we are in full abundance. Okay? That there is nothing lacking. The only lack that we have is when we do not feel fully integrated in our own spirit. So this is actually 55.6 is actually where we can find spirit through materialism. So this is another reason why manifestation this year is going to feel and be quite prominent, because we have the aspect of being able to live in this 3D world and feel our spirit in it. Okay. Now, when we look at the 23 is all about insisting and desisting. This is the voice that comes out of the 23. This is the assimilation. So there's going to be a whole set of values, okay, that are replaced with a brand new set of values this year. And because this is foundational, this is first line, I would encourage all of you, including myself in this, I've done this exercise a lot, is to really tap into your own value system. What do you value? Because when you understand what you value, okay, then you're able to explain that value system to other people. And the 23.1 explains mutation. What is mutation? Well, it's a change, it's a shift. It's the next highest octave of frequency for yourself, for your business. So if you're in a business right now and you feel like there's a lot of frustration happening, and you still want to push forward because you see that there's dollar figures attached to it, but you're not feeling correct in it. Now is the time to really understand your own value system and make the shift. Okay, make the shift. It's okay to pivot. It's okay to take your life experience and to take your life cycles and to do something different. And you just explain the mutation to your people. That's all that this year is saying to you. It's supporting you in explaining that next mutative energy to your people. The 36.4 crisis. I have this in my chart, so I know this very well. Crisis this year, we are going to understand that covert information and esoteric information are both completely necessary for us to move forward this year. We are going to see the corruption. We're going to see the covert information, but we're also leaning into the esoteric information so that we can move into this experience of really feeling the abundance, to being able to adapt to all the shock of all this stuff coming out, to adapt to all 40 of these countries making shifts in their elected leaders. So we need all aspects here so that we can see the crisis. And even though that crisis is available, crisis always brings us a little bit of nervousness. Nervousness isn't bad. It allows us to just move forward into the next experience. And the 60. The 60 is all about limitation. I really appreciate this 60th gate, because what it is telling us here, the 60.4, is that we are designed to be resourceful. Even though we have a limitation, we are all designed to be resourceful. And the minute that we get resourceful, we maximize our own potential. And through that limitation and through that maximization and that resourcefulness, we actually get really innovative. So you're going to notice that there's a lot of innovation that's going to take place this year. Okay. There's going to be new things coming out, and they're going to influence us because it's the fourth line. They're going to be very influential. So start to recognize this. Where in your business can you get more innovative? Instead of using those limitations holding you back, how can you maximize the potential of the limitation that is available? Okay. Now, because this perfected form channel is available in the background frequency for all of us for this year's energy, you have the potential. Anytime you see a channel coming out of the spleen or coming out of the solar plex or coming out of the ajna center, what that tells you is that there's a potential to heal the fear. So we all have, anybody that's willing and ready to go into therapy, shadow work, use human design, do the things that need to be done to really go deeper in, we have the potential to heal the fear of tomorrow. What this year is supporting us in is that we actually live in the now. So instead of getting caught up and fearful of tomorrow, we can heal those fears and actually really live in the now. And when we live in the now, we become very keen at knowing what we actually have to be fearful of. What needs to be dealt with right in the moment, instead of the mind creating these stories and keeping us in that fear. Okay. So the other thing that's really important with this channel is that this is going to be the year, as an entrepreneur, you want to get all of your systems set up. You know, Gitas and the Bodygraph team, they've done an excellent job allowing us to have our charts, collect those emails so that we can then get our people into an email sequence, have conversations with them. They have built out a beautiful platform for us to create reports so that our people can actually get to know human design in a different way through our lens, through our interpretation, because they're along our fractal line. They want us to interpret the information for them. So systems are going to be key. Okay. Now, the other thing you're probably going to notice, and if anybody here is a part, they do yoga as well in their business, you're going to notice that there's going to be an uptick. Yoga, Tai Chi, Qigong, all of these things that have perfected form that are teaching people about the physical body and how to use that physical body, how to use breath work, how to use those things that really open us up to this perfected, beautiful temple that we have. You're going to notice that there's going to be an uptick of that. Okay. So cleaning up our bodies, cleaning up our brains, getting to a space where we don't let the fear of tomorrow hold us back, that we actually start to lean deeper into the now. This is going to be key to your manifestation this year. When we talk about manifestation, manifestation always happens in the throat. So some of you might say to me, but Leann, I don't have a defined throat. I have an undefined throat. How do I manifest? Well, there's some key things that we're going to talk about through manifestation. Now, I'm just going to pop into the Q&A first and just see if there's anything here that needs to be chatted about. Using underlying, okay. Would you say it's a good time to invest in physical assets or crypto? I am not a financial advisor, but I'm going to tell you that the old systems that are currently available to us, okay? The old systems that are currently available, they are breaking down. The 2027 shift, we know this, it's happening. And because that breakdown is happening, what's important is that we understand that there's going to be new systems born from, okay? Because that's what the 60th gate tells us. The 60th gate indicates to us always that we always have to use the old and then birth something new out of the old. So all of this old stuff, it provided the old systems, the old healthcare systems, financial systems, pharmaceuticals, all of these kind of things. They were all systems, but they were built and now they're starting to crumble. But whatever foundation that they have, we're going to be able to rise up and come out of that. So, I'm not going to tell you to go into crypto, but the writing's kind of on the wall that fiat currency and governments are beginning to crumble. And what you're noticing is that human beings, because that's what human beings do, human beings are very adaptive. Again, that 51 is telling us this. But what we're noticing is that new processes are starting to come alive because the old stuff is crumbling. So I live in Canada. What I'm noticing here, there is such a huge uptick in going back to natural wellness, using LPNs and RNs. They're starting to open up their own little clinics where they can do some of the smaller procedures because our healthcare system is so overtaxed. It's falling apart. We see crypto happening. A lot of people are talking about gold and silver. Now, I do not want to give you fear mongering because the 5710, that perfected form, is telling us we're going to heal the fear of tomorrow. Don't live in the fear mongering. Be prepared for it. Always be prepared for it. However, things like food, being able to grow your own food, that's going to be really important. Being able to take care of yourself and your wellness, that's what the spleen is all about your own wellness. So what do you need to feel safe and secure and survive? We've been kind of lied to around a lot of that kind of stuff. And I shouldn't say lied to, but the cross the planning wanted wanted us to let them be our decision maker. And now we're pulling away from that and we're learning how to make decisions for ourselves. But what does that include? That includes also understanding, what do we actually need to feel safe? So this year it's asking you to get clear on that so that you don't have to have the fear of tomorrow, so that you actually can heal that fear. Okay. So I have a lot of undefined centers. I'm absorbing a lot of negative energy and awaiting your tips on the undefined throat. So here's what I'm going to say around undefined centers. Okay. Undefined centers actually operate more as a reflector energy. What does that do? Well, reflector energy is actually sampling. Okay. So when you can look at your body graph and go, oh, I am just here in that openness, all of that openness that's in the body graph. All you are here to do is to witness that energy in the world. And then you go back to your discernment and your decision making and say, oh, I am going to interact with that energy, or I'm not going to interact with that energy. So when we're talking about the throat center and we're going to lean into the manifestation of the throat center, well, the throat center is all about action. It's all about communication, but it's also about manifestation, because communication and action create manifestation. So the throat center is all found in the second quarter of the mandala. The second quarter of the mandala is all about form. It's about building our 3D world. But we can't do that from a place of reaction. That's what the 41 is telling us. You must understand, what is the emotional feeling that you're feeling in your experience. If you are reactive, then all of a sudden you can't manifest. You're not leading yourself. That's what the 4131 tells us. So the minute that you pull out of that reactionary way of being and recognize that all of those open centers, all they are here to do is to go out and experience the world and allow people to come in and experience the world of you. They are like a revolving door on a mall. They are not here to get reactive. They are here to gain the wisdom of what the other person actually has to offer. Okay, I hope that makes sense. I'll just look here. Any insight on the higher educational systems, degrees? My mind tells me I need the credentials. My sacral authority is violently rejecting them. So I think that the like doctors, lawyers, things like that actually should have a degree, we're going to see that still continue on. Okay. However, you know, can you learn how to do business on YouTube? Yeah. Can you learn how to grow food on YouTube? Yeah. So when you're talking about your sacral center, you really, that your authority and your discernment tells you every day, every moment, what you are designed to interact with and what you're not designed to interact with. Is that invitation correct? Is that request for your energy correct? Is that initiation correct? That's what human design tells you, is that not everything that's here in the 3D world is for you. Just bits and pieces of it are there for you. Okay. The 2027 shift in systems. How does this affect community-based businesses? And how sustainable will that be going past 2027 and beyond? I'm curious, based on how Ra talked about people not being forced to care for one another the same way after the shift. So there is going to be an element of that. However, what I recognize in the 2027 shift is that that 59th gate is still available to us. The 59th gate is indicating to us that we are going to achieve unions in a different way. We are going to co-create and come together in a different way. It is not a way where it's just to line your pockets, okay? It's going to be about this integrated usage of human beings. Instead of us being used and stepped on like mats, we are going to be reintegrating our full capacity as spirit inside these vessels. And when we do that, what you're going to notice is that now everybody gets used correctly because we are honoring our own decision making. We are trusting the skills that are inside of us. And as we do that, we can step forward and move into the world completely different. Okay. It's not about, oh, well, I'm going to make this much money and I'm going to use everything I can in my power to get to that amount of money. It's going to look totally different. Capitalism is not going to look the way it does now 400 years from now. It's going to be totally different. Okay. Does that make sense, Molly? What are the trends that I am seeing happening? What kind of trends? Tell me about what kind of trends you want to chat about. Hey, Yamani, nice to see you here. I finally organized our first event. Oh, nice. Festival and workshops, good. What aspect of the festival should we really focus on for the marketing to maximize the energy shift of 2024 and what people are looking for most? Well, I'm going to tell you right here, this perfected form. How can we heal the fear of tomorrow? This is going to be this is the huge energy for the year. So the fear mongering that we are seeing, right now, yes, we all know that these systems are crashing, they're coming down. But we also know that human beings have always been innovative. We've always been able to move forward. Human beings have been here for billions of years. So helping people understand that when they heal their fear of tomorrow and live in that moment, then all of the shock that's happening, all of these things, they understand the abundance of spirit. They understand what to fight for. They can manifest differently because their energy frequency, their emotionality is different. Instead of being reactive, they've actually leaned into the satisfaction of life, feeling really vital and joyous and just having a yummy sensation inside. That's how we're designed to lead. Okay. Does that make sense, everybody? Okay. How can I create the chart you're showing? Well, this is software from MMI. This is not the Bodygraph chart software. The reason I'm using this is because I can just show the personality side for the upcoming year. Inside Bodygraph chart, you can go in and create charts. Okay. So they do have that aspect in their back end. So when you sign up with Gitas and his team, you will be able to create charts through their software. Question on manifestation. You've talked about how manifestation happens through the design Sun Earth, aka our vehicle. Can you elaborate on this as it relates to the 2024 energies? Might it relate to the 5710? Yeah, all of this energy is in the background frequency. So manifestation, okay, now let's jump in because that was the last question. Let's jump into this. Okay. Because we live in this world, in this particular energy realm that we're in, it operates on 3 6s and 9s. So in order for us to manifest, we actually need a positive, a contracted energy. That's what the 41 is telling us. We need a positive, expanded energy. That's, again, the 41 is telling us we need to contract down so that we can then expand. And we also need to have a neutral space. So what we miss as humans when we are manifesting is that we have to recognize that the consciousness field, okay, the quantum field, the consciousness field, whatever you want to call that, source energy, universal energy, it is neutral. It is completely neutral. Okay. So I am going to just actually stop sharing my screen. If I can do that, there we go. And just come on here. So I see the consciousness field like it's a fabric. It's just ones and zeros. It has no like it's just waiting. What it's doing is it's waiting for us. Okay, it's waiting for us to contract down our feeling so that we can then expand out into the experience. But what we do as humans is we get very caught up in our belief systems. You know, oh, I believe money's bad. I believe money's the root of all evil, or you know, oh, I can't have this. We create all these stories inside of our head. The actual fabric is totally neutral. You can have anything that you want. You can have any experience that you want. All it takes is for you to understand how you're doing it through the energy field of your emotions and your thoughts. If you're stuck in a very, very dense energy, you'll notice that you get dense kind of manifestations. If you're in a higher vibe, really open energy field, you get that kind of manifestation. But the actual fabric is completely neutral. Okay, so if you guys have questions about this, let me know. The throat center itself, when it is undefined, okay, when it is undefined, what you're going to notice, okay, is that you will, it's not that you are completely 100% reliant on other people to manifest, but you will notice that action and communication and manifestation happens for you more so when you are with other people, because that energy field comes in to your body graph and you can manifest. You can manifest on your own. Don't get me wrong. You totally can, because all it is that feeling contracting down and then being able to recognize the field is just neutral. It's waiting for your directive. Now, how are you going to interact with the 3D world? That comes from discernment. So in your businesses, okay, if there's someone here that is, you know, having a hard time in their business, you know, put some comments in here, put some questions and answers, but it all comes down to your discernment and how you're going to interact with the field, with the material world. Okay. So how you interact with the neutrality and how you interact with the 3D world indicates so much of how you're going to manifest. Your emotions and your actions and your languaging is so huge. Okay. I think there's from any suggestions. Okay. People together in events and sharing ideas. How can I manage that this year? Help serve the collective more without burning out. So as a manifester, you have the capacity. Okay. This is what a manifester is really designed to do. Manifestors, you guys create like the cracks in the time-space continuum so that people can come forward. So I see it just like Moses, you guys split the seas and then human beings can move forward. So you as an initiator, as the person that is designed as a 4-6 manifester, you are designed to create space for that event to happen. Now, it's important for you to ask your generators, manifesting generators in the world, to help you build the process out so that you do not become exhausted and then angry because you're doing everything by yourself. Okay. So when you are when you're creating that space, know that your best way to work is the space creator, okay? Is to get really creative in creating space. Get people to help you, okay? Dense manifestations. Well, dense manifestations are ones where you're doing it from a very low frequency, and then low frequency stuff keeps happening. So you wake up in the morning and you're really angry and you're like, oh, having a bad day. I'm already having a bad day. And then you stub your toe and then your car breaks down. And then your boss hollers at you, or your kids are really angry and ornery. That's a dense manifestation. Because when we're in those lower manifesting energy fields, okay, we will attract to us how we are actually vibrating in our cellular structure. Okay. My main challenge has been in communicating the deliverable of learning human design. How would you focus on the healing fear of tomorrow aspect for this year? So honestly, ask people what holds them back. What holds them back? Like Marianne Williamson always says, we have more fear about us being successful than not being successful. So we have this super, super fear of what tomorrow is, and we get ourselves so encompassed in the worry of today and right now, worrying about tomorrow, that we never, ever, ever manifest this a future that we're designed for. So, I would ask people, how are they making decisions right now about tomorrow, Lori? That's what human design at the core is teaching us: how to discern, how to make decisions, and how to move forward. So in your deliverables and in your communicating, what's holding people back from manifesting their life? How do they make decisions right now? Are they in a state of decision fatigue? So do you guys know, like, there's a statistic out there that, like, 40 years ago, we used to see, what was it? I think 150 pieces of like really terrible news in a year. 150 or 350. I have a totally open head in Ashna, so I'm not 100% certain, but it was such a small figure. Now we can see 150 to 350 pieces of bad news in a week. Like, our brains can't hold this stuff. Our physical bodies are inundated with information all the time. That's why your open centers are so critical. You don't want to absorb it. You want it to just pass through. You want to just sample it. Don't let it reside inside your body. It is not paying rent. So get all of that stuff out of there. Like, yes, we are all very aware that there's a ton of human beings that are going to suffer in this shift. Okay, the cross-up planning for 411 years has dominated our world through wars and through taking our authority away, right? Keeping us in a state of fear. But what we get to do this year, so that we can set ourselves up for real success come 2027, is learn that the fear of tomorrow is not a true construct. It's not a true construct, because you and I can manifest just like that. And that's why you're going to see a lot of things in the spiritual realm. Okay. This whole 36.4 covert and esoteric knowledge is necessary. We are powerful, powerful manifestors, and we are manifesting our life every single second. When you walk into your kitchen and you grab some food, you manifested that. When you sign onto your computer and you have a whole bunch of brand new followers, you manifested that. When you open up your bank account and you have a whole bunch of money in there, you manifested that. We are manifestors every single moment of the day. Okay? As an emotional manifestor 2-4, how can I talk about helping women follow their purpose without sounding kitschy like everyone else? Well, first off, flip the script on that. How lost are people? Ask them that question. Again, as a manifestor, I love that we have these manifestors here. You're designed to open the time-space continuum for people to find their purpose. But in order for them to find their purpose, they actually have to recognize how lost they actually feel. Like how frustrated they are, how angry they are, how bitter they are. People want to live in a rainbow society with, unicorns and dancing fairies. But we live in this 3D world that's, we're designed to come up against challenges, but people let those challenges and that fear, it becomes this cortisol chemical that just runs through us, and we start to live off of that, creating inflammation, and we don't even recognize it in ourselves. So start to pull out the things that you're seeing in your people, Deb, where like, how lost are they? How are they recognizing that they're lost? Okay, does that make sense, Deb? How do you deal with the situation when someone who is operating on a low frequency negatively affects your life and your manifestation? Speaking about a family member. So, how do I want to say this? You're in charge of your own manifestations and your energy field. So, how, like, you're in human design, human design, what kind of communication are you having with that family member? Know that our friends and family are 98% of the time our biggest challenge in our life, because we love them so much and then we start to believe them. So they're only showing us that there is still subconscious work to be done inside of our minds. If we are not actually stepping into our own manifestations, it's because they are pointing out to us that there's still work that we need to do to get clear in that subconscious mind so that we can step forth into our manifestations. Okay. Before I manifest something big, I tend to have a stream of challenges. What could this be from, and how can I soften the experience in the future? So, how do you look at those challenges, right? Like, how are they setting you up for the manifestation? That's how I would look at it. Instead of looking at them like there's these stream of challenges. Okay, it's like they're strengthening you. They're providing you with this wisdom and learning so that you can really discern, oh, I am going to interact with this challenge because I know it's going to help me in my manifestation, or I'm not interacting with this challenge. My discernment process has said, nope, I'm not doing it. So you can let that one go. But recognize that those challenges, and then look at them. How are those challenges coming in? When they're coming in through all the open centers, what do you need to learn in those open centers so that you can declutter that center and really step into the manifestation with fervor? Okay. My goodness, look at all these manifestors. This is just so awesome. As a manifester, how do I call in aligned clients in my aura is repelling. Okay. I have this desire to help people, but worry that I'm too much for people. So here's what's really interesting with the manifestor aura. So it does say anonymous, but if you want to let me know what kind of channels you have. So do you have manifestor channels? Do you have projected channels in your design as well? What you want to recognize is that repelling aura, it's not about repelling human beings, okay? It's about repelling resistance. So the naysayers, splitting the seas, creating the crack in the time-space continuum, that's why your aura is repelling. You're not here to repel human beings. No, you can attract human beings. We all have a monopole. We can all attract. Every single one of us can attract. We all have open centers. That repelling aspect of your aura is to push the resistance out of the way. Like imagine Moses pushed the ocean, the sea, out of the way. That's the strength of your aura, so that the creative space can be born through your capacity to do this. So when people see you do that, they're going to be 1000% attracted to you, because you have this capacity to create this space that they can come in and help you, that they can come in and be a builder, they can be invited into, they can like reflect and be a part of the community as a reflector. So when manifestors are on point, man, I live with a manifestor. When he is in that space where he creates those cracks, like people come out of the woodwork to help him manifest what it is that's available. Okay. Hey, Yamani, as an emotional projector, how best should I manifest dreams into reality with a team where everyone is eager and ready, but opinionated, with limited resources, experience, and ability to execute? So do you have the capacity to, like, what is the capacity to help them, each one of them in their jobs, get the training that they need to have? That's what I would ask you. I invite you to connect with other organizations that are doing what you're doing and really leaning into the SOPs and where's the training falling down. Because if they are, you know, inexperienced, okay, and able to execute, then that's what you want to look at. Like, what exact area are you falling down in? Okay, so that you can really understand it. And if they're opinionated, what is their opinion about? Opinions are usually there because there's a pattern that they're recognizing. So what is the pattern? What kind of force, what kind of system isn't working? So when we're looking at opinions, okay, we're looking at the 17th gate, and that 17th gate is all about in the logical system, but the logical systems always need vitality. So logic in the body graph always needs vitality. So we need to know, is this vital to move us forward? And if something's missing in there, that's where you really want to lean into. You got to understand what is the step that's missing, and that to move people into a manifested aspect and to actually have them execute. Okay, as a 6/2 self-projected projector, I've had a lot of fear, stagnation around putting my personality online, mostly in the video form. So with the 8/1 and the 10/20, I know that people are attracted to my exactly authentic self and voice. But when I sit and script myself or plan something out, I feel I've lost my, yeah, authenticity for sure, Chelsea. How can I use this manifestation energy to support this next phase of your business? Okay. So self-projected projector. What do you get noticed and recognized for? What are you noticing and recognizing when you are interacting in the online world, on social media? So how could your advice, okay, really help people move forward? I would recommend you do not script yourself, because you are self-projected. You need to just be authentic in the moment. I will tell you, I script nothing. And I've done, like, I don't know, 400 YouTube videos. I do not script anything. I just move from response. And I allow that authenticity to just show up. So with that projected, self-projected energy field, allow for that voice to be there, right there in the moment, because that's what you're designed for. And then the other thing I recommend to my projectors, and I know that I shouldn't call them my projectors, but the clients that I work with, is that you guys really do way, way better if there's somebody on the other side that you're actually having a conversation with. So here's a couple things that the projectors in my realm have done. They will put a friend on a phone and just mute them and have them sit there and act like they're having a conversation with that friend. Okay. Or they imagine the person on the other side. They imagine the person on the other side and being able to advise them and help them and ask those questions, because that's what you guys are good at. Projectors, you guys are so good at asking questions, so that us manifesting generators and generators, we can tap into our sacral energy and really understand and respond to those questions. So the sacral energy wants yes and no questions right now. Can you be available for the task? Can you do this? Can you do that? Right? It wants right now, yes or no. The emotional center, if they are sacral with the emotional, that's where you're going to go more into the open-ended so that they can really dive into it. But they have to understand how to engage that sacral center. And in your content, and when you're looking at your business, you want to come from that place of thinking, okay, if I were to help just this one manifester or manifesting generator today, and this video was just talking about this one aspect, what would it be? And how would you guide and give advice? But I would not script anything. People want authenticity. They don't want scripted stuff. So I am a 1-3 emotional generator with only undefined head. Ah, very good. I've been in my experiment for almost 3 years. Excellent. I want to step into the truest version of myself. Reincarnation cross, right angle cross of explanation. How, when will I know I'm ready to share my knowledge? My one reading talks a lot about waiting for the right moment. How do I know I'm not starting too early? So right angle cross of explanation. So you have the 4323. 4323s, I love you guys to death, because you guys have the ability to structure, and I need you in my world because I am a 3420. So 4323s, you help efficiency. Okay. Now, what else I'm going to tell you is that your explanations, okay, your explanations not always are going to get adopted right away into the collective. Why? Because you're individual. You, just like Ra, okay, Ra Uruhu, the creator of human design, had the 4323. He talked a lot about neutrinos for years before the scientific community even like sniffed on that word. And people thought he was absolutely a freak for talking about it. So know, Alicia, that your explanations, your capacity to explain things and show things, people might not get it in the beginning. You may have to repeat yourself more than once, but you will be invited for that structure. And when the timing is correct, that structure will permeate into the collective and into the tribe. So the timing, meaning be invited to share what you need to share. You know, I get it. You're an emotional generator, so you're also responding to that, but people are going to invite that information. Now, not everybody is going to be able to adopt it into their life right away. Sometimes it falls on deaf ears, and it can be very frustrating for you. However, without you putting that out into the airwaves, it is never going to be able to permeate into the collective and then into the tribe. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. There's my channels. Oh gosh. Steph, can you remind me exactly what we were talking about? And then I'm gonna go on to, so here. So any thoughts on responding to synchronicities? This is gonna be, I think, the last question. Gitas. So anybody else after that, we'll maybe have to go to a different day. Unless we want to keep going. If you guys are okay to keep going in Europe, I'm okay to keep going, but totally up to you guys. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I mean, I'm listening, interesting. I mean, this depends of
Okay.
how many. Yeah, it depends how many attendees.
Okay. Okay. Then maybe we'll go till 3:15. How does that? Well, 3:15 my time. So 15 after. How does that sound to everybody? Okay. And then we can come back. I think we're going to come back next month and we're going to talk about 2027 quite a bit. So
Yes.
you'll also have the opportunity to ask questions there. As well, just, I'm going to plug it. I do have my self-study and my mentorship where we talk about all of this stuff a lot. We come together 6 times a month, but okay, so I'm going to go to anonymous here. For example, my intuition told me to stay and live in the family home, but out of fear, my mother decided to take it upon herself to sell her house, so I didn't live there anymore. I was not able to listen to my intuition to stay in that house as a result. Now I have been forced into a very uncomfortable situation, so that would be dangerous and unhealthy. Well, can you now switch your situation? Of course you can. And how can you do that? By manifestation. Okay. So think about, what does safety feel like? What is a really good, so I'm talking to Anonymous here about this question. So what does a safe, healthy space, what does it feel like? What does your body feel like in that? Is it really relaxed? So you want to go to that space. So when you're manifesting, you want to go to this space and tap into the sensation. Okay. What does safety feel like in your body? Even though you feel like you're in a space right now that's unsafe and unhealthy, how can you shift that energy field so that you are now attracting healthy and safe? How can you be healthy and safe inside your cellular structure so that the universe says, hey, like attracts like. Let's provide a healthy and safe space. Start to visualize. Now, the other key thing about manifestation in the human design terminology, you guys must go to the cognition. So your sun, earth tone. That right there, how you translate the energy field, how you translate your imagination, you want to use that tonal construct when you are imagining and manifesting anything in your life. For me, it's feeling. Some people it's taste. Some people it is smell. Outer vision, inner vision, touch, and feeling are the ones that you want to lean into. You want to lean into that cognition, because when you touch that and you bring that in, that sensation into your physical body, and you manifest from there, now your brain and your body, so your actual hard drive, knows the software that it is designed to interact with on the outside world. If the environment doesn't taste right, don't interact with it. If that manifestation doesn't smell right, don't interact with it. If it doesn't feel right, you don't interact with it. That's your discernment process. Okay? So what are your thoughts on manifesting with motivation innocence? So motivation innocence, it's really just soft. You don't have to have an agenda. Okay? So the mind doesn't need an agenda. You can still manifest your entire life through innocence, because innocence, there's a palpable frequency to innocence. But again, you want to go to that cognition tone, and you want to make sure you're translating your imagination and your manifestation through that cognition tone. And then what happens is the motivation, that tonal frequency of innocence, is built right into your manifestations. Okay, it's agendaless. It's agendaless. That was amazing. About the repelling aura gave me goosebumps. Awesome. I have never been in a situation where I was forced and wasn't allowed to listen and follow my intuition. I am not sure how to deal with this. Okay. So again, you're going to want to look at, like, why is this situation happening? How is it coming into your world? You want to look at all your open centers. You want to tap in. So the word forced, what's going on there? You're feeling confined. Well, that's a part of the 5342, that channel of cycles. Channel of cycles does not like to be confined. What are you learning in this cycle? So you want to lean into that, anonymous, and go, so why do you feel confined and forced? Start to look at these things. What is it teaching you? Okay. Mariana, if we have gates 51, 57, the new nodes in our natal sun Earth, do we experience these nodes in any way different? Well, anytime that there's something in the background frequency and you also have it in your chart, it's just going to be familiar. It is going to be an energy that's familiar. It's not going to be an energy that kind of like rattles you a little bit. It's going to be an energy that is familiar. However, of course, in your chart, you're only going to have like one line, one tone, one color, one base of that. Now you're going to learn the whole gamut of it as it's moving through the nodal configuration, but it's not going to feel as though it's quite as challenging, because it's like a comfort level, because it's familiar energy. Hopefully that makes sense, Mariana. So if my incarnation cross is a cross of the Sphinx, is that impacted by the locks and keys, especially with the Great Change? And if so, how? Well, the Sphinx and the it's a part of direction. Okay, so you want to lean into, like, your design to your purpose is all about direction. So the locks and keys, yes, are always going to you guys are going to feel it the most, right? The Sphinx is always any of those 8 gates in the G center. When the locks shift in those keys, you guys are going to feel them the most. Like, I have mine totally open, so it's like kind of like a playground for me. But you're going to feel that shift inside of there. So any thoughts on responding to synchronicities? So what do you mean responding to synchronicities? So if they're there, you're responding to them. If you're noticing them, you're definitely responding to them. And as a generator or manifesting generator, like, we have no other choice but to respond, right? My body moves, my hands move, I lean in, I pull out, I giggle, I do all this stuff, because that's what we're designed to do. We are designed to respond. We're designed to be animated. So synchronicities are like, that's exciting. That's fun. As a manifester, how do I call in aligned clients with my aura? So Steph, we kind of went over that. A lot, again, as a manifester, you are creating a space for your people to come in and actually steep in your creative container that you've made. So as a manifester, you make that space, you part the seas, you repel the resistance so that people can come in and actually step into that creative space. So lean into, how does your creative space, what does it look like? What does it feel like? Because it's the space that you create that actually matters as a manifester. I have the 17, 62, 515, and 34, 10. I'm a 1-3 sacral generator, consciousness. I want to manifest my own content creation this year, and I'm wondering if podcasting, YouTubing with a partner would be better than doing it alone. Any ideas? Responding to, okay. 515. So 515, you groups. So Ashley, small groups. So three to 5 people you're going to work well in. Now your 1034 also appreciates some alone time because it's individual. So I would actually I would look at like doing a panel, like doing 3 to 4 people in your podcast, and just kind of I don't know if any of you guys watch like the PBD podcast, Patrick Bet David, that there's 4 of them on their panel. And then sometimes they have guests on there, And like it's quite fun because there's this, you know, energy field that's there. And as a 515 in a small group, Ashley, that would be really helpful for your podcast and for your YouTubing. Okay, can you repeat that? Cognition is how you translate the energy. Yes. Cognition, so the tone of the sun earth, the cognition, this is how your brain and body translates the energy field. It's so mine is feeling. I feel the energy field. Other people taste it. Some people smell it. Some people like have to close their eyes and like see it internally. Other people, it's visual. It's the outer visualization. If it's not appealing, then they can't pick up what needs to be like. They're not picking up everything in the environment. And then others are touch. So when they touch a coffee cup or they touch a book or whatever it is, they get like all the information from that gets translated into them. So anybody that has touch cognition, you guys are really, really good hands-on healers. So chiropractor, acupuncture, any of that kind of stuff, massage therapy, like really good at that because you touch somebody, you touch their shoulder, any of that kind of stuff, and all of the information that you need is right there. So cognition is key to manifestations. Okay. So Leann is able to answer my question at 1 o'clock. Okay, 1 o'clock, Regina. Yes, sorry. Hi, Leann. So nice to have another class with you. May I ask a question from our last class on niche and nodal lines that I didn't get a chance to ask the last time? If not, due to the subject, totally no worries. Okay, but I wanted to see if, say, from our nodal lines, someone is attracted to our work, does not carry those nodal lines. Does that mean anything? No, totally doesn't mean anything. So let's say in your nodes, like for example, I'm a 1-3. I don't just, or like my nodes are a 1-3, but my personality, Sun Earth and Design Sun Earth are also 1-3s. But I don't just attract people that are 1-3s. I attract people that appreciate my foundational information and they appreciate the experience that I bring. So most people will also have those lines in their design somewhere. Okay, not very often do we see someone with no, like it does happen, it totally does happen. But for me as a 1-3, not very often, like I'm probably not ever going to bump up against somebody that doesn't have any 1s and any 3s. Could it be possible? Maybe, but they're probably not going to attract to me at all. But they might be a 4-6 in their profile, but the 4-6 is actually a resonant to the 1-3. Okay, so yes, if people are coming into your world, Regina, and they are not along that fractal line, they most likely have your those nodal configurations, those lines in the nodes, they probably have them somewhere in their design. Okay. I have fear as my motivation, and I am a bit perplexed as to how to utilize this as I'm reflecting on your question on how can we heal from the fear of tomorrow. Okay, I want to be able to help others with healing the fear. Yet with fear motivation, it feels a bit confusing, contracting. Okay, am I misinterpreting this? I'm a 2645 sacral generator. This is my first time on a call and I'm enjoying this so much. Oh, well, thank you very much. So Christina, you're actually going to be perfect for this because you can really understand fear. You totally understand what do we need to survive. You understand that at a deep level because that is your motivation. So can you help people heal from the fear of tomorrow? Yes, you definitely can because you can see those people, you can smell those people, you can taste those people right off the bat. You know exactly who is fearful, why they are fearful, what's going on, because that's your motivation. And your motivation is to help them heal that so that they can move forward, so they're not paralyzed in the fear, but they can actually thrive in having that fear in our world. Hopefully that makes sense, Christina. All right. Okay. 3:17 at my on my clock. Hopefully everybody, that was good. Gitas, is there anything that you want to bring up?
Yeah, yeah, it
Sound
was
good?
really good.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. It was very good.
Awesome.
I really enjoyed it.
Awesome. All right. Okay. So I believe that I can send out, or maybe Zoom sends this out. I don't know. I don't use webinar very often, but
So
hopefully.
yeah, sorry to interrupt you. What we can do, I mean, of course, we can of course put a recording on YouTube channel, and I'm gonna send the newsletter. I'm gonna share this with you as the audience. You can share with your community if it's okay. And
Awesome.
yeah.
Perfect. Good. All right. So we are going to do this next month as well. We're going to talk about the upcoming shift. So we will be sending out an invitation for that. I don't know what day that's going to be, but we'll figure it out. All right. In closing, is there anything else that we want to chat about? So if anybody here, if you guys are struggling to get leads and all that kind of stuff, use the Bodygraph chart, embed that chart onto your website, and start using those reports so that you can really give your clientele a lot of value so that they can connect with you and see, your interpretation of human design.
Yes, thank you, Leann. And I just want to add something as well. We hired some additional resources in our team who will write some lead magnets for you guys. So you're gonna have some mini lead magnets prepared already for you to monetize.
Nice.
So yeah, so we have some records. So yeah, so we're gonna there's gonna be good content as well.
Good.
Good ready content for you.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
Fun. Okay. Awesome. Thanks everyone.
Thank you so
Talk to you
much.
later.
Thank you, bye.
Bye.